Hello, I'm Chris Williams from the YouTube channel Read Comics They're Bad For You, or on BitChute, Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about how the new Blade movie is going to make Blade into a Muslim, apparently. At least the rumors and speculation on it. These rumors are unfounded, and a lot of other YouTubers say that once the hype goes down that it's going to prove that these rumors and speculation are for naught, meaning that they're not true. But it is still too early to know for sure. It would be just up the Kevin Feige's sleeve to pull something like this. Even though in the comics, I'm pretty sure Blade has always been a Catholic, or at least of Christian descent, because he was, of course, a vampire hunter. And they were mystical vampires, the kind that actually you use a cross to drive away. I'm not so sure that they ever used Muslim iconography or anything like that to fight vampires with in the comics. Of course, in the movie, it looked like Blade possibly could have been a Buddhist, but I'm not sure. It only showed him meditating in front of a shrine. Of course, the vampires in the original Blade movie were science vampires, meaning they had no magic powers, but still had immortality and were killed by sunlight. Of course, you know that if you've been anywhere or heard anything about the new Blade movie, then you know Blade has been recast. He's now being played by Mahershala Ali, who has apparently been in the last few years in a great many number of things. That includes being part of the cast of an Academy Award-winning movie. Now, Mahershala Ali is not the first Marvel superhero to be Muslim. One of the more prominent ones is Miss Marvel, known in her civilian identity as Kamala Khan. Now, all of this talk about including Muslims in the MCU, you could have done something by including the already established Inhumans, but no. You're already trying to rework and reimagine characters that we have already grown to love, and a character who was at a series that started more than 20 years ago, back in the 90s, with Blade the Vampire Hunter. Blade is as tough as nails, black as night anti-hero who doesn't need politics shoved into his plot lines. If you want Muslim superheroes, Marvel already has several. There's, of course, as I've just stated, Miss Marvel. There's also Dust from the X-Men, but we're probably not going to see her for several years. So they want to recast even established African-American superheroes as whatever they want. I mean, take this cover here of a Muslim Spider-Man. Do we want Spider-Man to be Muslim? Is he also gay? Because Tom Holland has also spoken out saying that he would be fine if Spider-Man was recast as a homosexual man. Now, this cover is, of course, probably a comic cover to a foreign comic book of Spider-Man where he is a Muslim. This probably isn't even Peter Parker. I'm only saying that because it looks like there's a Muslim dialogue on it, and because sometimes comic companies do this and license out their characters or concepts to be printed and remade in other countries. So this is a Muslim Spider-Man probably printed in the Middle East or somewhere similar. All I can say is Hollywood, like this vampire from the Blade series, will just not stop until it devours everything in its path, leaving nothing but waste and ruin in its wake. We don't need Blade to be a Muslim, and I'm glad this is all rumors and speculation, because most likely Disney will go in a completely different route. But this does feel like something that they're trying to push in the MCU. And it's coming on strong. You can see it with Captain Marvel, with how they protected that movie and tried to promote the character, even though the movie was a mediocre mess. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just there, like an ulcer. And we're probably never going to get any bloodthirsty vampires anymore. I mean, is Blade going to even fight them? And is it going to be any blood in it? Now, Kevin Feige probably thought he just, as he stated, he just wants to put more diversity in the MCU. But you already have black characters. And you have Blade. You don't need anything more than that. He doesn't need to be Muslim. We already have enough Muslim characters. Just use them. Blade is a vampire hunter, which means he should be of a Catholic faith, because vampires are typical, or at least movie vampires are typically of that general area. If they are magic vampires, then they should be vulnerable to garlic and crosses, which they lacked in the original Blade movies. I like the original vampires because they had more powers. They could fly, they could shapeshift, and these, old Blade movies, they didn't have anything like that. Even Dracula could only shapeshift into people who were basically the same size as him. Basically, he was the T-1000 of the Blade movies. And I went real religious vampires. I went magic included. But no, Marvel will just continue to keep pushing these things in their movies. Like, they'll maybe make Blade also a cripple, as well as keep promoting Captain Marvel, who's supposed to be the strongest superhero, which she is not. She is not the strongest superhero in the MCU. Disney and Kevin Feige even went so far as to say that she would play a major part in Endgame, even though she was barely in that movie and only served to show how strong Thanos was when he battered her away like she was a little fly. Now, with that being said, and with all the publicity they had given to Captain Marvel, I have my doubts and fears that Blade will just be another, SJW nonsense fest of them continuously saying that if we don't want to watch movies like this, that we are evil racists. Yeah, they'll continuously do crap to the point where they'll just have, Blade here stab Captain America. By the way, this is from a comic where Captain America was bitten by a vampire, apparently, and Blade was there to try and make sure he didn't turn. But you get my point here. The way the SJWs act there, just like here, they would do everything in their power to stab the spirit of America and keep pushing their values down upon us. Now, the good thing is, these are all unfounded rumors. This speculation will probably most likely be nothing. Blade will just be a vampire hunter in a PG-13 movie, which means we'll get violence, but probably not very good violence, because Blade works best in an R-rated movie, because he's a vampire hunter. He stabs monsters for a living. Blade, for all its faults, and I thought it could have been a bit better, he was a great anti-hero. And putting him in the MCU could be, one hell of a values dissonance as I've ever seen it. If you want a decent Blade movie or a decent Deadpool movie, let them be R-rated. You want the characters to be recognizable, but you would go so far as to twist them around and destroy them just so you could make even more money. And that's my fear, that Blade is just going to be, even if they don't make him a Muslim, that it's just going to be a watered down, extremely watered down, basically vampire version of Guardians of the Galaxy, with just a bunch of little humor, even though he kills monsters who kill people for a living. And those are my fears. And I have to say that even Wesley Snipes, who played Blade in the original movies, he's come out saying that he thinks Mahershala Ali would be a great addition to the MCU. And I have to say, even though I've heard he wanted to play Blade again, and with him coming out and saying this only means he just wanted a good publicity and not get on Disney's bad side. Now, if you like this video, subscribe and make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed to me, then please subscribe to me. Subscribe at YouTube at Read Comics, They're Bad For You. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to me at Comic Freak. Now, if you like my videos, hit that like button and leave some comments down below. And remember, keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.